Lord have mercy, I get to start this all over again. Happy Christmas Eve to everybody. Let's just start fresh. Now, volume muted, no sound. You do not need to put it in the comments. I was only muted for about 30 seconds. So thank you. I'm talking about on replay. When you guys are watching replay and then you put no sound, obviously during the live we were able to fix it. So just Merry Christmas to every single one of you. So we're talking about Jack and Lilly Sullivan, who were reported missing May 2nd from Lansdowne, Nova Scotia, Canada. Lilly being 6 at the time and Jack being only 4. Very rural area. Now, a lot of the times, and that's what you missed. So, hey, Allison, we have a live audience, and I love you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you to my replay crew. Thank you, thank you. You are all my private eyes, and I love you so much. And in this, you're shouting from Scotland. Thank you, Allison. Thank you, lovely. Yeah, let me know where you're having your Merry Christmas. That would be wonderful. Hi, Smudger, Unspoken Heart Stillness. Rage, not that rage. Windy G, hello, lovely. Hi, Lynn Hammock, Crazy Daisy Doodle. Trail Hiker again. Jennifer Swain, my lovely. Debbie Gazzardo, everybody's here. Well, not everybody. There'll be more to come in. All right, get comfortable. Let's talk about this. So, in every case I work, there is this part of the case that is haunting memories. So there'll be things said in a case, visuals that we've seen. I can name every single case, like Summer Wells, haunting memory is the picture of her laying, or even the 13-second video of her laying up against the milk cartons. Haunting, right? And so you get what I feel. And when the case eventually gets solved, because the truth always comes out, right, Tasha? Yes, Merry Christmas to everybody. St. John, New Brunswick, Canada. Hello, lovely. My babies are my number ones. Welcome back. And those haunting parts, we always end up when the case finally gets solved and looking back and going, if we had just taken it at face value, there was the answer staring us in the face. And so what I've done is I wanted to take a minute to share with you like some haunting thoughts that I have come across in the Jack and Lilly Sullivan case. It's not easy working these young women cases. The little ones are so difficult, right? Tasha, I said your name right that time? Well, good deal. Hold on a minute. I am going to mute. All right, I'm back. I can see I'm unmuted. All right, here's the thing. As we get the new RCMP update, which is this Officer Mora, or something like that is his name, the interviewer talks about Jack and Lily's case. He goes through all the details like you heard, and then she shifts it into domestic violence cases and then into trafficking. And I'm like, all in the Jack and Lilly Sullivan interview? I get that they're talking about the overall cases that the RCMP are working and their new hires and how good they're doing and so forth, but it just seems so strange to start off going in depth about the Jack and Lilly case, and then in the same interview it trails off into partners that have suffered from violence of their partners, as well as trafficking. And I'm like, make you wonder, right? But today And maybe I should give you a little bit of that. Let's just jump ahead. We'll grab some timestamps. 444. Let's see what we got.
Would the Nova Scotia RCMP like to better their work to serve survivors and victims of intimate partner violence moving forward?
Now we are approaching it in a trauma-informed approach, supporting the victim as best as possible in the early stages, and some of those outcomes really are victim-led.
Okay, so you have to kind of ask yourself, why did they lead right into that? But then they go into this. Let me see where it is, right? Maybe in here.
The board.
Violent crime seems to be on an uptick from just looking at that year-to-year comparison. Why do you think that's the case, or is this due to a number of factors?
100,000 people.
What is the RCMP doing to try to mitigate that here in Nova Scotia?
The Human Trafficking Unit created a new position called a Community Program Officer, and this is going to be key for us into how we engage with some of our communities. What we have found is that our Mi'kmaq and African Nova Scotian communities are disproportionately affected. So the community program officer is going to look for ways to engage with those communities.
That is so strange to me, to do an interview regarding missing children and go in depth about how many leads you've had and what's going on. And then also in this interview, he says something to the effect of, I believe somebody knows something. If it's a missing persons non-criminal case, would you say that? Would you say, I think somebody knows something? I don't know. It leads me to wonder. And so, like I told you, I have been, let me get it back over here. I have been going through a little bit more of what I feel is going on in the Jack and Lilly case, and I decided to share with you, and you can share back. Let me know how you feel. I've got to sneeze. Hold on. That was a weird sneeze. Okay, but I do feel that there are certain things about this case that I can't shake. And so I want to understand a little bit about what you feel. So Anna Pye says, I know only small portions what was about Jack and Lilly. And Toshama says, I haven't heard from this case in a few days. Is there any new stuff we didn't already know? Nothing alarmingly new. There's no breaking news, no. But there is some weirdness going on here. And when I'm done, I want to know if you feel the same way you do right now about the Jack and Lilly case. So let's go over a little bit before we get into it heavy. Let me find a little picture of Jack and Lilly to get them on the screen. And these are two beautiful children named Jack and Lilly Sullivan. They are siblings, 4 and 6 years old. As I said, Lansdowne, Nova Scotia, Canada. Very rural area in the middle of nowhere. And if you're not familiar, they come from a very poor background. Not just poor, but also, that's one thing. You can be poor and clean, but also there was dirty mattresses in the yard, a dirty mattress in the yard just laying out there, appliances broken, scattered through what was considered to be a play yard. The gate, the fencing that went around the backyard was only half there, completely open to the driveway. Kids can just walk out. And there's a lot of secrecy that was going on in the home. CPS, or whatever they're called in Canada, were involved in the children's lives. School reported issues with a black eye. So they allegedly went to town on Thursday, did a bunch of shopping, came home. They went to bed. We don't even know Thursday much about anything because Daniel will tell you it was a completely normal day, so he can't remember any of it. That's the person, the boyfriend of the mother. They'd lived on the property about 2 years, and the real father was not in their lives, wasn't paying child support, and did sign off on the kids. So Malia, the mother, had sole custody of the children, which if she's unhappy with the boyfriend, she could take her 2 kids and leave. The hang-up is that her and the new boyfriend also shared a baby named Meadow, who was approximately 16 to 18 months at the time that the children went missing. Then we go into Friday morning, and the mother, allegedly using a app on her phone, reports the children missing at a little after 6 a.m. The children are not found and are reported missing by around 10 o'clock in the morning. The RCMP were not that far away. They were working another case. They showed up quite quickly. The search pursued. They've searched. They've used dogs, drones. You can't even imagine. There are pink ribbons tied everywhere in the woods where they have searched and not found these children. But there's something more to the story, and we all know it. And so I hope that brings you up enough in speed, because I'm about to deep dive, and I don't want you to feel left behind. So I'm going to get off screen for a little bit. We're going to talk about, like in law, in order for it to be a criminal case, you would have to have motive, means, access, and opportunity. Well, as 3 people, 3 adults were on the property the day the children were reported missing, we would have to ask, do any of them have the means to make the children disappear? Do they have access? Do they have opportunity? And most of all, do they have motive? So means would suggest that whatever the crime would be, that someone has actual means to carry out said crime. So let's pretend for a minute that a crime occurs that's a homicide by a pew-pew. Then you would have to try to find out if that person would have the means to get a hold of said weapon. Okay? So we don't know where the kids are or if something has happened. So we can't really determine the means until after the children are found, and hopefully they'll be able to at that point. Access is easy. They all 3 have access to the children. Malaya and Daniel, the mother and boyfriend, are in the same trailer as the children. The step-grandmother, we'll call her that, the boyfriend's mom that owns the property, that has given up the trailer so that her son and the mother and children have a place to stay. She's taken to what we call the Breaking Bad camper. If you know, you know. And if you don't, you just need to see a picture, you'll know. So access isn't really a problem for her either, because she has already established, whether it's true or not, she has put herself out there legally in the court documents as to hearing the children. So it gives her access. Opportunity, again, access and opportunity. So you may have access to someone, but they're at a party in public the whole time, and so the opportunity to take action against them is not there. But this is a rural place, and they're the only 3 adults there, so they meet the criteria of opportunity. They all meet the opportunity and access. Do they have the means? We can't determine that yet. We kind of have to wait to find out what actually happened, to find out if they meet that criteria. So then the next thing would be motive. If we're to look at the mother, the motive gets really cloudy because I established in the very beginning of her life that she has sole custody. And so what would be her motive of a big drag out, big old thing where kids go missing? And obviously she wouldn't be able to see them anymore because, cops are going to be talking to her, investigators are going to be in her life, she's going to be watched by the public. It really doesn't, I'm putting my pants leg down. I'm in my PJs actually, for Christmas Eve. So that's right, my babies, walls are starting to crumble. Yes, you're right. Walls are starting to crumble. Merry Christmas, RKB. Hello, lovely. Sharks are feeding on each other. Oh, it gets wild. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be showing you these very important parts of the case that are stuck with me as haunting. Like all other information that comes into my knowledge has to come up against this wall of haunting knowledge, right? So I thought, well, I'm going to share my haunting knowledge with you and the questions that I ask so that you can see it a little bit from my perspective. Now, keep in mind, this is my humble opinion, but I'm sharing a lot of facts. I'm sharing a lot of what these people said. And I believe sincerely that Daniel Martell and Malaya Murray Brooks, I personally believe that they reveal a motive in both of their first interviews, an actual motive. It was something that they each individually focused on, went into way too much detail on in their very first and Malaya's only media interview. I found it out of place. I found it alarming that you would even broadcast that to the public. Keeping in mind, if either of them believe that the children are abducted, you are seriously giving too much information to the abductors. And so I want you to listen to this and tell me if you catch it. So first, I believe that both Daniel Martell and Malaya Murray Brooks reveal motive in their very first interviews. Let's look at this. Now, I want to preference this with saying thank you to Hunter S., as this came off of his channel, as did a couple of the other clips. All right, let's go.
Lean Hiker. Awesome kids, very, very kind. They'll talk to anyone. They want to go with anyone. They're just looking to have as much fun as they can.
It says okay, let's pause it. Hold on. I'll read that to you. So they talk to anyone. They want to go with anyone. They talk to anyone, right? You keep going. You tell me at the end of this what you think their motive is. The quote, he says, is, "I have no idea why anyone would want to take them, but they're easy to take. If they would have wandered to the road, they would get in any car as long as you offered them food or water, or even candy, or anything like that, or even to see mom and dad. They would immediately get in." Have you spotted the motive yet? Let's continue. Not sure where. They will go with anybody. This is again Martell, Daniel Martell, because they're undiagnosed autistic. They will go with anyone, anybody, as long as you offer them food or water. Say, "I'll take you home to mom or dad," and they immediately get with them. They'll immediately get with them. Let's continue. Okay. Here we go.
It's really go-lucky children. They're so sweet. They talk to anyone. They'll talk your ear off. They will speak to anyone in a store, everyone.
Did you catch it? What could be the motive? Did you catch it? All right, keep listening. She says, I want my babies home. My children are not shy to strangers and will go with anyone. They don't understand stranger danger. Anybody? Did you catch the motive? You think they're going to turn on each other, Nikki? They may. They may. I'm waiting to see if anybody grabbed it. Trail Hiker says, Jerwood is an interesting character, isn't he? Allison's asking, is it possible trafficking? Anything's possible. That's the answer to any question you ask me about what happened to the kids, because I don't know. Okay, I'm still not seeing it. Still not seeing it. What did they both say about these kids that was so out of place? I'm just hoping that y'all will catch up. Stranger took them BS. I agree, it's not a stranger. Anybody? Okay, then I'm going to play it again. I want you to listen to what's said. You come up with an answer, and I think if you listen to what they're saying, they're telling you. Didn't know stranger danger? Yeah, they said that. That's not a motive, though. I'm talking about a motive. A motive, you guys. A motive for foul play. Kids are unafraid. Not it. Not a motive. They would try to get food or water. Not a motive, but thank you, DLR. Thank you, Love and Light. Kids unafraid. They'll go with anybody. Still not a motive, you guys. No. I want you to listen again. We're going to play it again. I want you to put on your private eyes and really put your private ears on. Put your private ears on and put your private eyes on. I'm going to play it again.
Hiker. Awesome kids, very, very kind. They'll talk to anyone. They
Pink
want to go with
Butterfly
anyone.
says setting it up to be taken. Not a motive. I talked over that. Let's go back.
Hiker. Awesome kids, very, very kind. They'll talk to anyone. They want to go.
They'll talk to anyone. They'll talk to anyone. That's both of what Malaya and Daniel said. Didn't matter all the details. It was a sense of a setting up for a kidnapping, but that's not the motive I'm looking for, though. Okay, Love and Light. I had a niece like that. She would talk to anyone. I don't think that's the motive. I don't think that's it either. I think that... Boom! Shakalaka boom, we got a winner! We got a winner of Christmas Goat. This is going to be loud. Yes! Both parents focus that the children will talk. The children... Here comes the truth train. Can't even make it up, y'all. The children are gonna talk. You guys got it. Yes, Anna, they were going to tell. Trail Hiker, the kids knew something. Boom! Keep the kids quiet about illegal activities and abuse. Boom, boom, boom. Light and love, you guys got it. My private eyes got it. To silence them. That's right, they don't want them to tell on them. They'll tell things. They would tell about the rugs. Yes, yes, yes. Meredith says, in my opinion, that's why they were kept home from school. hide Lily's black eye, and Jack would talk about the abuse. Carrie Jake telling the truth about what's going on in the family. Oh, because they'll tell CPS. Yeah, you guys have got it. Keep them quiet about the abuse, rugs, all of it. So let's go back up here for a minute, right? Let's talk about the motive. Let's talk about the motive. Like I said, we're going to listen to it now with our private ears, right? Listen to what's being said.
Lilly and Jack are awesome kids, very, very kind. They'll talk to anyone. They want to go with anyone. They're just looking to have as much fun as they can.
They'll talk to anyone. They'll talk. Now let's go to Malaya. Let's see, where's Malaya?
They're so sweet. They talk to anyone.
They'll talk. They'll talk. They'll talk. Yup. Boom. They'll talk. Exactly. They would have lost Meadow. Daniel would lose visitation with this other two. Amy Momody rocks. Took us a little bit, but we're getting there. Daniel mentions the black eye in case she was found with one. Exactly. Hey, Carrie Jakeman. Hello, lovely. Boom, boom, boom. Exactly. All right. So, what sticks with me is that the children will talk. The children will talk. The children will talk. And they're not in school. They're not in school. They're not in school a lot. So possible motive has been established that Jack and Lily will talk. That is a very possible motive. Now the question is, what would Jack and Lily tell us? Aw, Merry Christmas to you, Carrie Jake. Thank you, Nick UK. Thank you. And this would be a great time for me to say Merry Christmas, as well as thank you kindly for all the wonderful support you guys have given me this year. I am blown away every week when I get my YouTube report weekly that shows me you guys are hyping me up like mega. Thank you to the hype crowd. You guys are just blowing my mind. The likes are way up there. I'm just so pleased and thank you. Thank you very much. Meredith says, typical of abusive parents to keep kids home from school, lack of food, clean clothes, bruises the teachers would ask about. Tushema says, at this point, if they find Jack and Lily, would they be looking for bones or a body still? Depends on how... I don't want to get too graphic, but most likely bones, but... I mean, preservation of the remains, right, would be in question. DM also told Drunk Turkey that Lily had a black eye around April 30th, right trail. That's right, Allison. They talk about the abuse and why they got black eyes and the rugs. Right. All right, let's look at this. At first, in the photos of Jack and Lily, their mom posted on social media, says Belinda, the biological grandmother, they looked well cared for. They were happy, and I just told myself it was okay if I didn't see them because they're living a good life. After the baby was born, the photos their mom posted of Jack and Lily started to dwindle, Grace says. She started worrying about seeing, quote, a big difference in the kids. And I just kept telling myself, she's got a new baby, and I know having a new little one, it can be a bit rough. Malaya changed too. Like if you go listen to all the reports of her friends and family, when Daniel comes in the picture, they're not in the picture anymore. And neither is the children's grandparents. It's like Daniel wanted Malaya and the kids away from everyone. Why? What was he was it because he was worried about what they would talk about? Kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? Sarah England says, yep, Lily wasn't going back to school with a black eye, in your opinion. DEA says, I have a question. If it is true that before Lily and Jack's disappearance, Grandma Patty asked Darren Geddes to help get Malaya and the kids out of the trailer and away from Daniel, it has been established through Wade, which is the stepdad to Malaya, and Darren Geddes. It's been established that that is true. And then you're going to find out that Daniel himself, in this live, I'm going to show you where he says it's also in the court docs. So, well, we have the source we have Daniel saying it. Love and light for all. All right. Sounds like typical abuse in the family. All right. Let's get into this. So this is from our lovely Daphne Case Files. I think she is so sweet. She's doing such an amazing job on Jack and Lily's case. So please go give her lots of love. I'm going to come over here and share her channel real good here. Oh, and just so you know, this is Hunter S. True Crime. Let me bring it forward. And that's also one of the channels that I grabbed a couple clips from as well. So let's get back over. This is Daphne's channel. And you can go look up Daphne's Case Files there. Give her some love and love. Love and love too. Wish her a Merry Christmas and sub up, right? Okay, she's going to read something to us. Now, she read this entire document. Daniel does say a whole bunch of stuff. I think Daphne just went live, too, because I just got notifications. Coincidence. But she reads this, but I just grabbed the part where she's reading what Daniel says that will be the alleged reason, okay? Listen.
I know Malaya will probably say she left because of Ruggs. Or I abused her. Or I abused the kids. If I abused any of them, I'd be charged with domestic violence.
So, Daniel is going off the hypothesis that unless there's a legal charge, there was no abuse. You want to tell that to a whole bunch of women that are terrified that you'll hurt that a person will hurt their kids if they report them? Just because there's a police report, my friend, does not mean there's no DV. There's not a police report on a case where I was holding my own son and was punched in the face. I handled it differently. But to throw it out there like if there's not a police report that says the abuse happened, it didn't happen. Are you kidding me? But listen to what he actually says. Now remember, Daniel likes to get ahead of everything. Everything, right? Hey, Meredith, please. Daniel not allowing visits to Belinda is typical of the isolation and jealousy of a controlling and abusive partner. Textbook. I agree. Love and light for all says poverty, Ruggs, and poor supervision. Ruggs always seem to surround the missing kids. I agree with that. Trail Hiker says, yes, so sad. Ruggs often play a role in a lot of crimes, and there is a relation to it. I was holding a baby and got punched in the face in front of my other child. I was too dumb to go to the cops and show them. It was weeks before my face even looked somewhat normal. Meredith says wasn't fair. He didn't allow visits and made it difficult. He gets to see his other children and their grandparents are in their lives, but his new partner wasn't given the same. Question: did Grandma Patty call on others to remove Lily and Jack? And Malaya did not want to come. So be it. But if the kids were gone, she would eventually leave. Grandparents don't have the right to remove children from their parents. So, I'm sorry, but that would be called kidnapping. Rach, not that. Rach, thank you, lovely. Yes, please hit that like button if you haven't. And if you'd like to subscribe, then you won't miss a video or a live. Okay. So Daniel says, I know Malaya will probably say she left because of rugs. Or I abused her. Or I abused the kids. I think it's all three, Daniel. I think you're trying to get ahead of it, right? I know. Not I think, I feel, I know Malaya will probably say she left because of rugs, I abused her, or I abused the kids. If I abused any of them, I'd be charged with domestic violence. Wrong. Because it would take Malaya reporting you. So, just because there's not a police report, you're still not in the clear. I don't abuse women, first of all, he says. And second, I don't abuse children. Yes, I admit I used rugs. I am not ashamed of it or hide it. Man, you're not ashamed you used drugs. You're not ashamed. You're freaking kids, stepkids, your girlfriend's children are missing, and your girlfriend was breaking down in the driveway to her family, allegedly, saying that you'd been doing it for the last 2 years, and you have no shame in that? That's fucking pathetic. Sorry.
Leia had been there to get her status card updated, so she is a member of the First Nation, and she visited her grandmother and other relatives, and her grandmother asked her about her relationship with Daniel Martel.
But I asked her, did he hurt you? She didn't really say he hurt her, but he held her down. He held her down and took her phone on her, and she couldn't talk. She couldn't allow to use the phone.
So not only can you not go visit any of your loved ones or friends, but if you try to call and talk to him on the phone, he's gonna hold you physically down and take away your communication device, your way of getting to the outside world. He was having her, I don't know what you call it, scared, says Grandma. She couldn't go anywhere or do anything. Connie goes on to say, that's what she told me, and that's what I told the detectives.
Certainly the Mi'kmaq community.
When she asked her grandmother about rug use in the home, she said Malaya told her that Daniel concealed a drug addiction for nearly the first year of their relationship.
Has been involved in the search and providing legal assistance to their mother, so it is a part of the story. We learned through our reporting that Nova Scotia's Child Protection Office had been contacted by the kids' school, concerned about the way they were showing up at school. We don't know the specific details of what the concern was that prompted that call, but we do know that caused a child protection worker to go to the children's house and interview their parents, and this was in the months before their disappearance.
The CPS went to their house in December, and they should have took the kids out of there. Look at the look of the house. You get the locks on the door, and the boy be there. But why'd she stay there? No, she could have went to her grandmother's and Bob. You know how many times we tried to... She was at the grandmother's before they went there, Dan and her. He got 2 from a previous marriage, and those 2 that are missing are hers, then they got the little girl together. And he didn't like her kids at all. But she said they beat them.
I was looking through the Facebook page of the children's school to understand what their school life was like. I was really just curious about the types of things they did at school and, what their lives were like there. And I came across a photo of Jack with a black eye. And so that photo was dated December 13th, 2024. It was 5 months before he and Lilly disappeared. I asked Daniel how Jack received the black eye in December, and he didn't respond. But in private Facebook messages that were shared with me, he acknowledged that Jack had many black eyes. He said Lilly even had a black eye when Jack and Lilly disappeared from an incident that happened on May 1st, the day before the children went missing. He said a Tonka truck that she pushed down on swung up and hit her in the face.
But the most of the black eyes were probably from Lilly because, and I don't want to say 100% because Jack was really clumsy too.
Really clumsy too. Isn't that interesting how usually aggressors will put back onto their own victims how inept they are? They're clumsy, they're uncoordinated, they trip over their own feet, all to excuse the marks that their victims suffer from their abuse. I mean, not that Daniel did it, but really?
Like when we used to take him to the woods, he'd fall a lot. I remember one time too, Jack ran right into the doorknob on the door.
Why do you have to call it a door? Okay, that throws me. I mean, honest to God, I raised 4 hyper kids. Not one of them ran into the doorknob on a wall. The doorknob on the door. Like, too much, dude. And did you fall off the swing or did you hit your eye on a doorknob? Is like the exact bull stuff that victims will give to excuse their abuser. Oh, I fell and hit a doorknob. Oh, I fell off the swing. I fell off my bike, right? Lots of victim blaming. Exactly. Victim blaming. It's their fault. They're clumsy. It's their fault. Very possible that the mother had postpartum. Extremely very, very possible. What a life for those poor children. DM is gaslighting. Correct. Should we blame both parents for neglect? 1000%. I am right now focused on what physically occurred to Jack and Lilly. I will be honest, I do not think, I do not feel, I do not sense that Malaya would physically, knowingly take the life of Jack and Lilly. I just don't. So I'm not coming at it. Nothing stuck with me in this case that suggests otherwise. But I do believe foul play happened to these children, because if they had been grabbed by family members and moved around and all these shenanigans, we would have found out by now. So I'm just going to tell you, I fully believe it's foul play. And I don't think that Malaya would intentionally harm Jack or Lilly. So from my perspective, that's what I'm sharing today. The teachers suspect neglect, probably more. No accountability. He's trying to get ahead of things. Right, Meredith, right. Meredith says, I played a high-level rugby as a woman can and only saw 2 black guys in 15 years of playtime. Correct. They do all act the same. You can just peg them out, right? You walked into mini kitchen cabinet during your marriage. I get what you're saying. He's deflecting. Neglect-based accident. It's very possible. Walked into that door again, lyrics from the song Luca by Susanna Vega about abuse. There it is. There it is.
In the face.
But the most of the black eyes were probably from Lilly because, and I don't want to say 100% because Jack was really clumsy too. Like when we used to take him to the woods, he'd fall a lot. I remember one time too, Jack ran right into the doorknob on the door. They would throw stuff at each other. They were quite aggressive toward each other.
Now, the house like that, I'm checking to see if there's food in the fridge. I'm checking to see if there's locks on it. It's just that to use a lock. And Daniel's daughter, she's like 8 or 9. It ain't rain. She said, well, they got locked in the room. Yeah, but she didn't care.
She didn't bother.
She came over and clothes her stacking filthy.
Was she always like this?
Yeah.
Or you was,
he wasn't brought up like that. See, they asked her to the kids out. This was in December. And plus,
So I've showed you some of this stuff before. Now don't come down on me. I don't want to hear it. Daniel himself has stated that his older children from a previous marriage have told CPS that Daniel did bad things to Lily and Jack. So, what are the bad things? Let's take a look at this. I've showed you this before. Is there bruising right here on Lily's leg? You can see it blown up over here. Right? Let's undo it. Let me show you her kneecap. Right here's her little knee. So what is this? And here you can see it's a pressure bruise, which is much deeper. And so you get the white mark. What is this on Lily's leg? That's a hell of a big bruise. I don't think it's from a Tonka truck. And I don't think it's from a child. I just find that extremely concerning. And she had the black eye, right? And then we have Jack, black eye. We got Malaya having this very dark bruising right here on the back of her. And that's not her hair, y'all. Let's go back up to this. What did he say? I know Malaya will probably say that she left because of drugs, or I abused her, or I abused the kids. I wonder, right? What causes this kind of a bruise on a child? What causes these black eyes on a child? What causes this bruising right here on Malaya? And if you look, Jack's got the same bruising on his neck. See that? So we've got this bruise on the neck, looks like a handprint. When you come over here, we also have that same marking on Jack's neck. There's his little jawline right there. So when Daniel is making the accusation that he knows Malaya will probably say that she left because of rugs, or that Daniel abused her, or that Daniel abused the kids, I gotta wonder some things, because I don't know, man.
I think that was Monday. My sister drove me up there. We didn't go there to search that time. I'd seen no point in searching any further once Malaya had left. So I figured if she left, something tells me she had to have had a very, very good reason to leave. Is it because she knows her babies are alive? I really, really hope so. But this other part of me tells me no.
So, the question then becomes, always getting ahead of things. That's Daniel. I guess it's not even a question. Let's take off the question mark. Daniel is always getting ahead of things, right? Daniel's always getting ahead of things. Let's scroll back. Remember, both parents, they started this off with them explaining in their interview a possible motive established. That Jack and Lily would talk about what? About abuse, about how Lily got this bruise, how Jack got these bruises, how Malaya got these bruises. It was a motive to silence the children, to silence them. And in silencing the children, you may silence the mother because she still is a child that you share with her. And if you do something to the first two kids and she's not able to prove it, you would be very terrified for him to have your baby, knowing what to train, knowing what he's capable of. So was he getting ahead of the situation? So what do I mean by that?
And then he proceeded to tell me of how he searched. Now, I have to say, that part struck me weird, because as he was telling me how he searched Friday, he was telling me word for word what I heard on the TV interviews. And I mean, it was basically word for word, and that struck me as off. That just struck me as totally off. Right down to the culverts, the dirt roads, waist deep in the water, word for word. And I thought that was really, really odd.
Last few days have been very stressful. I mean, ever since the Friday morning, when we noticed that the children were gone, immediately jumped in the vehicle, surveyed all the areas, many dirt roads, many culverts as I could, and waited for the police to get there. As soon as I seen they were missing, I jumped right in the vehicle, and I did every dirt road and searched every culvert. As soon as I seen that they were gone, immediately jumped in the car, did all the dirt roads, did all the culverts, checked over the rivers, the streams, I did everything. We were searching. We covered everywhere possible. Even in the first day, we did. Even with me running through the woods, I was ahead of the helicopters and ahead of the drones and stuff like that, screaming as loud as I can, and just until my throat hurt, running through water that was up to my waist. And as soon as I got back, I wasn't allowed back in the woods until a man dressed in a military outfit said I could go back into the woods.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Repetitive, exact story. It's getting ahead of it, right? Getting ahead of the helicopters, getting ahead of everybody. So then the question we talked about earlier is about Malaya wanting to leave sooner. Daniel's going to tell us it's absolutely true that Malaya was trying to leave Daniel. Wade, the stepfather of Malaya the mother, he says it's true too. Darren Getty says it's true. Patty the grandma says it's true. So what kept holding her back could have been a narcissist who would want to get ahead of the situation by saying, I'm not letting the kids go with you. Because why would you let the kids go with you? If you are an abuser, you're not going to have control of them anymore. You can't keep them home from school to shut them up. You can't threaten them to shut them up. And we know these kids talk to everyone. They're going to talk. So if the mother, which it's been alleged that Malaya got up in the middle of the night, found Daniel in the bathroom, around the time Daniel says he turned the light on in the children's room. And Malaya says he was doing rugs, mathematical rugs, in the bathroom. And Daniel says he was up at that time, he was in the bathroom, and that he turned the children's lights on. Why? These people don't even get up to check on their own children when these children are outside without coats and boots. Why, on the very night that they go missing, is it just such a, oh my golly, I'm in the bathroom doing mathematical drugs, I'm going to go check on my stepkids? Or is it something that Daniel was doing because he realized Malaya was really leaving? Like she was leaving. And if MMB, Malaya Murray Brooks, left with the kids, Daniel could lose everything through the children talking. Malaya's not going to talk because he has access to her baby. But what leverage would he have over the children if Malaya up and left? She had just got her car. She just got it licensed. She was free to go. You feel me? Do parents of missing kids usually call the police right away? I would think pretty quick, 10, 15 minutes at the most. Does he have scanners to listen to? Good question. Jennifer, this is so wrong, but D is the most unattractive male outside and inside. What a weasel. You feel what you feel, right? Let's go back up here. I think I missed something. Somebody asked a good question. I'm looking. I can't get all of them. Meredith says, in my opinion, the kids were home quite a bit before they went missing. Big tension in the house. They were probably stir crazy, plus the money troubles, and then Malaya wanted to leave. Dissolved into a big conflict Thursday. I agree with you. Meredith Police says his first 2 children told CPS they witnessed abuse. They were only there every other weekend. Can you imagine when they weren't around what happened? I don't want to. Brandy says, hi y'all. Merry Christmas to all in chat and Mama D. She rocks. Thank you. What? He's performing and reciting his script that he learned, says Allison. I agree. Meredith says when this all happened, his ex immediately pulled out the visitation with his other 2 children. Correct? Very much so. Love and Light says CPS always tries to keep these kids in the home even though there are danger. Kids will tell all the news. In my opinion, D had to prevent that. Exactly, Jennifer. The motive was disguised in their very first interviews. The children will talk. It's that damn simple. Malaya was leaving, and the children are going to talk. That is the motive, in my humble opinion. Exactly, Patricia. It starts at around midnight, right? He turns the light on in there. It's like all of a sudden we hear that Malaya's in the bathroom finding Daniel doing math, and then, he's turning the light on at midnight too. And then you hear the neighbors, around 1 to 5, the car was going back and forth. And the dude, actually the witness, cannot be disproven, and here is why. The witness is telling us before Daniel ever reveals the path he took. The witness is saying, Brad Wu is saying, I heard Daniel's car go up this direction towards the railroad tracks. It got quiet a few minutes, and then it turned and went a different direction for a little bit, came back, and then went up to Larg, towards Larg. Daniel. Well, DT, when I went to look for the kids, I went down this road towards the railroad tracks, turned around there, made a left, went down that way. DT, oh, by the boot print? Yup, says Daniel. Then I drove back towards the house and went toward Larg. Boom! Convince a jury that witness is actually a psychic. Because if the witness, Brad Wu, isn't a psychic, then he damn sure heard what he heard and saw what he saw. Unless he's a psychic. Many missing children are vulnerable situations, and CPS is also involved. Melinda says he named the exact 3 things that he is guilty of, in your opinion, right? And mine. Not 1, not 2, the exact 3 issues that I think evidence shows clearly Daniel's conscience spoke out loud as we become aware. Exactly why I'm doing this video. Things were coming to a head, and then boom, kids are gone because Daniel wanted to get ahead. He's the type of person hurt the kids because she left him. Also could be that, Patricia. Thank you for sharing your opinion. Trail Hiker says the 2 children that went missing are not biologically Daniel's, but the 3rd child is, and doesn't go missing. Exactly. Well, and there's rumors that he was administering rugs to her when she fell asleep so that she would also piss test him, unclean. Huh? Now you can look at her and tell that she's a healthy weight. She's not underweight. Like you look at Daniel in some of these earlier pictures when he was on rugs, and he looks like a little toothpick with a bobblehead because he's so thin and nasty looking. Just saying my truth. But Malaya, she's got a little meat on her bone, so I doubt she's very heavy into it. But I do know a lot of abusers, such as in the Christine Rudy case. She was pregnant, and her husband ended up shooting her, pew-pewing her in the head, and she was 6 months pregnant. But before that happened, when she would fall asleep, he would shoot her up with rugs so that she could not turn on him. How is that one? It's disgusting. Claire, replay. Hey, Shelley, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you as well. Meredith says Daniel will probably be visited by at least 2 ghosts tonight. If Jack and Lily aren't getting a Christmas Eve, then we're going to talk about their case and bring light to their case and try to get the truth out there. My baby's armies are my ones. There's a text out there from Daniel where he says none of this would have happened if Malaya didn't leave. Can't even make it up. So, yeah, Daniel always trying to get ahead of things, and then Malaya leaving, right? Let's listen to this. Let's listen to what he told DT.
Daniel, I want to add to that. This is backed up in the court case with Meadow. And in one of the affidavits, it does state that Malaya wanted to leave 2 weeks prior, but then decided to stay. So that's some evidence that backed that up.
So there's evidence to back up that Malaya was trying to leave. I will bet you my last dime that the only reason Malaya wasn't leaving is because she feared for her children. Allison says, and he talks in interviews with arrogance and self-pride like it's a game and he's winning by thinking he's not getting caught and police not charging him yet. I think it's coming. Hey, Nosy Lou, and blessings to you. To Seamus, question. What in the world is laws in Canada? Why is he not behind bars? I don't get it. Even he didn't K them, he's still abusing them. That alone should put him behind bars. Where are the police reports? Bruises heal. Unless you have police reports where somebody is physically getting abused at the time, they don't do much. Just saying. Didn't realize I was still alive. Thank you, Claire. I was too, Alice. I was like, where's Claire going for replay? We haven't even finished. Aw, thank you. Want to wish you all a very happy Christmas to you and to your precious ones. Thank you, Claire. Love and Light feels that domestic violence is definitely involved here. Claire's like, I thought I missed it. Merry Christmas, Mama D from Amanda Graham. Do you think Malaya said to Daniel, I'm leaving tomorrow with the kids? Yes. So he did what he did to spite her. Kind of. I believe he realized the gig was up. And now them kids got bruises. Remember, Lily got a black eye right now. I just said, unless there's police reports, when it's happened and there's proof, there's not much that can be done. So at that moment, if he's in the bathroom doing rugs, and you know the rugs of mathematics are known to make you paranoid if you do them, right? And both parents are telling you why these kids are gone, in my opinion. The motive was that they were going to talk. And if Malaya left him, he cannot keep them home from school. He cannot tell them threatening things to keep their mouths shut. He can't do those horrible things that abusers do and say, I'll hurt your mommy and your baby sister if you tell anybody what I did. He can't say any of that because he won't have access to the children. It's been alleged that she has a restraining order on him, and that's why she reported him when he handed her the mail, because he's not supposed to. Okay, I want you to listen to Derwood O'Grady. Listen close to this old guy.
I will tell you this, guys, in the end result. If Daniel was guilty of and being involved in the disappearance of these kids, the kids would have definitely been dead.
If Daniel was guilty of being involved in the disappearance of these kids would definitely be dead. Why don't she tell? May God flip out or something for your kids. Maybe she's still worried about Meadow. If you're dealing with somebody that's psycho, and I'm talking psycho, for someone to have done something that unalived children and then go to the lengths Daniel does, that's a true, very dangerous psychopath. And think about all the people that he has put in his pocket with his little... You would have to be assured that he was going to prison to talk, because all it takes is one time where he gets his hands around your other child. And if you know he did something to the other two, and I'm not giving her no excuse. I feel that she didn't give a crap about these other two kids. I feel that there is some mental issues with the mother on some horrible level, because any normal mother would have protected these kids long before we got to this level. I wouldn't even, if I was terrified of the man, the last thing I would do is tell him I was leaving. I would wait till he went back to work. I'd pack my shit with them kids. I'd go make police reports, and then I'd head out the door to a place that nobody knows. I'd had it set up. What are the odds that the kids were kidnapped from a home with domestic violence in it? I have no idea. It just seems, it's strange. Amanda, I hope that Daniel wasn't essaying Lily. In your opinion, he is a perv. I'm very concerned about that. I still believe they are on the little island on the pond that didn't search. Just my intrusive thought. In your opinion, he's a narcissist? I agree. Totally agree with the bruises. And the mom, plus mom didn't dare leave. They will do anything to protect their ego. Yeah. Thank you, 44. Thank you. Because he was abusive and in control of everything. Love and Light says, I believe that with Daniel plus kids equals DEAD. Maybe he caught her getting ready to go with the kids. That would make more sense. Berserk. Yeah. I bet they are too. So, Let's listen to Durwood again just because of what he says. I just hate his voice, but okay.
I will tell you this, guys, in the end result. If Daniel was guilty of and being involved in the disappearance of these kids, the kids would have definitely been dead.
I agree, Jennifer. I think Malaya is as much to blame. She didn't protect her babies. Her number one job. 100% agree. Marky, Merry Christmas, everyone. Good to see you, Marky, and Merry Christmas. Hope everyone has a wonderful Christmas. May God bless you all. Mama D. Thank you, my love. Thank you. Good to see you, Marky. Yeah, this is wild. So let's talk about this. Even the dog handler accused Daniel, saying Thursday didn't have enough details, and I don't think he was talking about him and the dog. We think you did something to the kids Thursday night, and he's an RCMP guy.
You were mentioning that you had a bit of a tense reaction with one of the dog handlers. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, it was a little bit heartbreaking and saddening to hear what the words that came out of his mouth. And for me, all I was trying to do was ever help. Like that's all I've been doing is cooperating, and to see that and hear that, I mean, it was pretty saddening.
What did he say?
He said your Thursday and all the way leading into Friday morning, there's not enough detail. And I said to him that Thursday was just an ordinary day until I woke up on Friday morning. And that's when life changed. There was nothing like life changing on Thursday. It was a normal day. So therefore, there was nothing detailed that needed to be remembered that day until Friday morning.
So he was mentioning something along the lines of something happened Thursday night,
Yeah.
and your story isn't matching up?
Yeah, well, not just matching, it didn't have enough detail for him, personally. And then that's when I asked him, do you know anything on the case? And he said, not really. I've seen you on the news once. And that kind of alarmed me, or, shocking, because you're having somebody that's trying to get you to admit to something and they don't know any details. So therefore, my Thursday didn't have any details. Your knowledge of the case didn't have any details. So you shouldn't try to force something on me without knowing any of the background.
Did he make any accusations at you?
Yeah, he did. He said that Thursday didn't have enough details, and we think you did something to the kids Thursday night. And I asked him, what are you talking about? I just ran through whole Thursday and Wednesday with you. We just spent the last 20 minutes talking. And there's not enough detail because I thought it was an ordinary day.
Basically, the RCMP dog handler says this to Daniel, and then Daniel shares it with us, and we now realize that we're not that far off of what the RCMP are thinking too. We're all kind of on the same page, which really leaves Daniel in a precocious position. Yeah, we're going to get into that. That's a big question. DM didn't act alone, in your opinion? Scratch that paint. I agree with you. Melinda, when they moved on his family turf, he felt and used more control. I agree with that, too. Vicky Palmer says, I thought Malia and the kids ran out the slider while he was in the bathroom. He broke front door frame while going out to stop them. Jack got hit by something while she was trying to get to car with kids. Dan lost it. It's possible. Daniel also inserts himself all over the case. True that. Trail Hiker says this interview is important. DM lives out to the reporter that the rest of what the cops said to him and that he used the wood stove to dispose of evidence. Well, I didn't leave it out. I got it. Let's go over there. All right, we're going to blow these up. The question is, were Jack and Lilly silenced to get ahead of what they would tell? Now let's look at this. This is Daniel Martell's messages, apparently to someone named Susan. The dog handlers came inside and asked me what this thing was. I replied, that's a wood stove. You never seen one before? What, says Susan. Yeah, Susan, yeah. They didn't know what a wood stove was, and the dog handlers asked your advice on where to search? Daniel goes on to say, one of the handlers tried to get a false confession out of me by trying to get me to admitting to the murder of the kids. Investigators were privately talking with Mom, so it was only me and the dog handlers when they tried to pull that stunt. Let's see what else is said. Whoops, didn't mean to flip it. All right. He goes on to say, they asked me too if I burnt anything since May 2nd in the stove because they seen ashes. I said, well, it was summer for the last few months. Why heat with wood in the summer and then a fire ban? Same handler said all these weird things. He also said human remains, dogs can smell remains in ashes. I said, why are the dogs not inside here? Then instead of asking what a wood stove is, LOL. Would you laugh if you were being accused of burning evidence? I don't think so. They did bring the dogs in the house, and they did all the property too. Then it goes on to say, he put his hand on my shoulder and said, Daniel, 2 children just don't go missing. I replied, yes, sir, I'm well aware of that. He then said something happened Thursday night. I said, no, it didn't. What are you referring to? He then said, we think you did something Thursday night. That's when I said, do you even know anything about the case? In other words, ridicule someone that is making an accusation when you could have just, instead of saying, I had nothing to do with anything, nothing happened Thursday night, you ridicule the person. Do you even know what you're talking about? Do you even know the case? Classic narcissistic twist is mocking, riddling when you're asked a question that you don't want to answer. Claire says, a background of abuse is asking the same. Where's the smoke? There's fire. Melinda says, wood stove was used to burn paraphernalia, I believe. Very well could be. My baby's army. Coop, if that was the case, they would have been found when they did the inspection to see what caused the fire, right? Aw, I've been covering it since the beginning, lovely. I care a lot about Lily and Jack. I want the truth exposed. Thanks so much for the live during Xmas Eve dinner. Now, listening, but no more chat. Merry Christmas to you, Meredith. Merry Christmas. Exactly, gaslighting again. Looks exhausted from all the guilt. True that. All right. I confronted Janie today, and Daniel wouldn't even come out of the trailer. I believe most of Daniel's family knows what happened. Guess what? There's problems between the Gettys. Darren Getty, the one that made this claim, you know, he's Malaya's relative because his cousin is Malaya's grandma. And then he's also somehow related to the Martells through his wife or whatever. All right. He was all about protecting Janie and Daniel. And then something went all wild because Darren O'Grady was told allegedly by Janie that she heard Malaya shushing the kids outside. So it's went from that to Janie denying that to him getting so pissed off that he went, O'Grady's or Grady, whatever, went to Daniel's home where he confronted Janie, and Daniel hid in the house, in the trailer. And then it went even to a new level where Darren says about his son Jordan. Now keep in mind, there's some weird stuff about Jordan. One of you said, I don't think Daniel did this alone. I've also wondered that. I've wondered about if he had a friend that would help, and it's just so weird how Darren O'Grady just keeps fighting with the RCMP, kept coming onto YouTube to steer it all towards Malaya. Look over there, look over there. Not over here, over here. No, over there, over there, over there. Because he tells him, Darren O'Grady's, Gady's, whatever, says not to come around his son anymore. Is it because your son is it like this? It's now that the RCMP are like literally looking at Daniel behind the scenes only, right? Like, we think you did something Thursday night with the kids, dude, right? That's like straight up. All of a sudden now, Darren, and his sons want out of the story because they know that Daniel, they can smell it too. You know, when you can smell bacon, you know there's something cooking in the kitchen, right? If you can smell pancakes, there's something cooking in the kitchen. And smelling around Daniel ain't breakfast. It's looking a lot like guilt. And they can do trial with no bodies. Might be hard with no bodies, but it can be done. And so truly, you have to ask, is he really distancing himself, Darren O'Grady's and his sons, to protect themselves, right? Because we're starting to look at this black SUV, or this Kia, this black Kia. Daniel's seen in a black Kia Sportage. Then there's an abandoned black Kia Sportage that nobody's in, but they run the name, and it comes back as a name we don't know. Somebody different that was on the road while they're searching for Jack and Lily. And then Darren O'Grady's is like, yeah, there's some suspicious black SUV, blah, blah, blah. But then he says he never owned a black Kia. Then he sells, and we've got an ad where he's selling a black Kia. So there's a black car in the mix here that everybody's juggling up in the air going, something ain't right here. And we're getting close, and we know we're going to get to the bottom of it. And that is why Darren O'Grady's is pulling him and his sons out of this deal. Because you can smell what's cooking in the kitchen. But you know, you've always got Daniel doing this little number too.
Hardly any evidence at all since the first day. It's mind-boggling that nothing else was found. It just blows my mind that there's absolutely nothing.
Holding out hope. I don't know why they didn't find anything from Jack's pull-up to her backpack or any of her belongings at all. They just haven't found anything.
The main feelings from sadness have just turned to anger because there's no evidence at all as of after 1 month.
So are you thinking that the dogs will go in there and won't find anything?
I know for 100% they won't find anything. I mean, that's probably why they waited this long to do it.
Is there any piece of you that's preparing for the fact, like, what if they do find something?
No, because I didn't do anything. I know Malaya didn't do anything. I know my mother didn't do anything.
Or are you confident because you know where the kids are and they're not in the search locations?
Those are 3 people on the property. I mean, after the polygraph exams, they should have known right there. We didn't kill any of the kids, or we didn't kill the...
Whatever. I have a big question to leave you guys with. Where would the kids be if DM had something to do with their disappearance? O'Grady feels they're dead if he had something to do with the disappearance. I feel he had something to do with the disappearance. That's just my opinion. But it's not just my opinion. Also, the dog handler, our CMP dog handler, also said, we believe you had something to do, Thursday night with the kids. And I'm not alone. So now we have to move into, what would Daniel do with them if he did have something to do with it? Where would he have went? Instead of just leaving it way out there, let's just ask the question. If Daniel actually had something to do Thursday night with these children's disappearance, O'Grady says they'd be dead. So what would Daniel have done with the children? That's a question. Could they be in the back of some sort of a vehicle at some junkyard out in the middle of nowhere? Yeah, the bags and circles under his eyes. I feel you. I feel you. Rach says, please don't forget show Mama D your love and appreciation by smashing the like button. Thank you muchly. With sprinkles on top. Love, yes. Near water, says Allison. Over by Jordan's, Tiffany White. I could see that. Rach says, Merry Christmas to our gorgeous Mama D, my beautiful sister mods, and all in chat. Hope you all have a fabulous time. Love yous. Thank you, lovely. Thank you, Melinda. I want to say a little prayer here. Let's take everything off the screen except for our little Lily and Jack. Let's see, where can I? Let me get a picture of Lily and Jack. I had it. There we go. I want to ask, when you go to bed tonight, or even when you bow your head to have your, maybe you're having Christmas tonight, maybe you're just doing, the cookies and milk for Santa, but when you bow your head tonight, say a prayer for Lily and Jack Sullivan. Make that be, and Summer Wells, and Sebastian Rogers. Say it as your Christmas wish. It's unfortunate, but all we can do is pray for the truth to be revealed, because no matter how much prayer we have, it's not going to change what really took place. So at this point, all we can do, accept whatever it is that comes out of this. I don't think it's going to be a good answer. But I do pray for the truth to come out, even though sometimes it hurts deeply. We just learned yesterday that Melody Buzzard was found deceased, that her mother allegedly used a pew-pew, drove her all around the country for a great hurrah, and then deposited her body somewhere over in Utah. So just remember, when God answers our prayers, sometimes the best he can do is reveal the nasty, ugly truth. Hug your family, hug your friends, kiss your children, love on them, celebrate tonight, enjoy the food, enjoy laughter, enjoy fun in the memory of Jack and Lily, because that's all we have is hope. I love you guys, and I always will. I will not be online tomorrow, as I am taking it off to rest and spend time with my family. I love you guys so very, very much. You are my family as well, and that's why I'm spending Christmas Eve with you. I have to balance it out, right? All right, my lovely, continue to be the voice for the voiceless along with me. And thank you, my private eyes, because you're right. The motive would be like the parents said. They'll talk. They'll talk to anybody. They'll talk.